Hey, this is Punker Mike. Welcome to the Punks for Progress Weekly What the Fuck Report.
Hey, what the fuck, Mike?
Hey, what
I'm
the
Aaron.
fuck, Aaron?
Hey, look, we got a shit ton to talk about today, so why don't we get right into it, dude? We talked about the Wells Fargo scandal on a previous show, did we not?
We did.
And how they...
do you remember that whole show?
And we would reference people to check out the Wells Fargo scandal show. That's what it's called, and it breaks down how they opened up fake accounts in their customers' names and robbed them of millions of dollars, and then turned around and fired the employees who were essentially instructed to do this.
Right, and this all pretty much it trickled up to the CEO who lost his job. And this week it came out that him and another young lady by the name of, let me see if I can find it here, Carrie Tolstead, have to pay back $75 million to Wells Fargo. So you know what? Fucking karma is a bitch.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Yeah, I just hope that they didn't make like $300 million each, and they're like, ha ha. But because that's kind of how, sorry to cast aspersions on our gloating. But anyway, moving on to good news.
Bad things happen to bad people. Good news. What did we have in good news? Oh, well, County of San Bernardino came through. They, I remember the little news story I was in last week. Well,
last week's weekly What the Fuck report, we showed a clip of Mike being on his local news show.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, P4P on the TV.
And the County of San Bernardino came out this week and said that guy's an asshole, and
explain to them who that guy is. Who's that guy?
I'm not going to know his name off the top of my head.
But what was he doing? What was he doing?
What he wanted to do is he wanted to make sure that undocumented citizens, people that actually live here, work here, and pay fucking taxes, that their children had to pay tuition to go to public school. And it had no support here. He thought he could come here to Redlands and Yuciapa and try to get it through because we're normally pretty conservative in this area. However,
there's money there.
The resistance, old money. The resistance does happen to be strong in this area, though. And besides that, County San Bernardino came back and said, no, it's unconstitutional, bro. You can't do that. So fuck off.
Yeah.
So. More bad things happening to bad people.
So hell yeah, and fuck you, pal, for fucking trying to.
And fuck you for trying to come out here to where I live. Fuck off.
But here, no, he's not even from your area. But here's what it comes down to, bro. Is why would anybody on the planet want to block someone from being more educated, therefore more aware, and therefore a better citizen? Like, we all benefit if other people are smart. If they're not educated, they're far more likely to end up resulting to nefarious activity, even crime. Like, it's like Henry Rollins always says, man, if people would just got a high school education, maybe they wouldn't grow up and shoot my best friend in front of me on the steps of my apartment in Venice.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, it's for real, man. So why? I don't care about documentation or any of that.
Let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Educated people are who I want to be around because they're less dangerous. Now,
absolutely agreed. And how do I know that kid's not going to come up with a cure for cancer? How do I know that kid's not going to come up with the cure for skin cancer? I don't fucking know. Whatever, right? The bottom line is, man, and this guy's going, hey, well, my taxes have to pay for public school. Right. Well, why should somebody that came here undocumented be able to send their kids to the public school where I'm paying taxes? And I'm like, right? I mean, that makes sense. Why do I got to pay for your fucking kid to go to school when you came here illegally?
I don't like to say it makes sense. I'd say there's some seeming validity to his argument. I would put it that way.
However, those undocumented people are here because they're working. They're here and they're working. They're making money. If they're making money, they're paying taxes. If they have a stolen Social Security number, they're fucking paying taxes. Social Security, Medicare, Medi-Cal, all that bullshit's coming out, and guess what? They don't get to fucking collect it. On top of that, they buy shit here to live. They have to buy fucking toilet paper.
Right, which boosts our economy.
And so that means they have to pay sales tax, so they're paying taxes. So you know what? How do I know that child of an undocumented citizen that's living here and working here and paying taxes is not going to be the next cure for cancer? Or you know what I'm saying? Or fucking
but look,
my jetpack. Where's my fucking jetpack? God damn it!
Well, look, that's what it breaks. That's how so much of what the right wing says. That's how what it breaks down to is, oh, you're from another poor country. Well, you have to be stupid. You're not allowed to know stuff because you're poor and you're from somewhere else. So fuck you. You don't get to have our cool, special American knowledge and education. Fuck off. Because they also fucking hate science. So let's prove it. What happened about Planned Parenthood this week, bro?
Well, the fucking Cheeto in charge decided that he was going to give states the rights to defund it. Now, I mean, do we really have to have this fucking argument again, bro?
Apparently, we're going to have to. So,
oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna fucking pull my hair out. Just hang on. I don't have much to pull on. You know what it comes down to, man, is 1% of what the fucking Planned Parenthood does is abortions. One motherfucking percent. And what they're doing is they have now taken away health care from women. Honestly. Women have
cancer screenings and
pap smears,
and
right.
literal just health services.
Services for women.
Just to clarify, that 1% of their services that is providing abortion services
is never funded by the government. Never. None of that money. 100%. There's already a fucking law on the books that says they cannot use any government money to fund any kind of abortion whatsoever. So, you fucking right-wing motherfucking troll sons of bitch scum fucks that like to troll our shit, that ain't going on. Get your ass informed, okay?
Women
None of your goddamn money is going.
Women are going to die
towards abortion
because of what he passed today.
So
women
fuck you. Don't give me
die.
the shit. Don't give me the shit that you're up for women's rights, because you're not. You just fucked a bunch of women, and you know what? You fucked some men too. I know some guys that got their vasectomies there. Oh, wait a minute, my hand is up. All right, it's about healthcare. So fuck you and fuck the right wing. And okay, I'm done.
Okay,
so anyway, God, man, Planned Parenthood.
Speaking of the right wing, who Jared Kushner?
Oh my God, that fucking our Jew in charge. Him and Bannon are button heads, and apparently Trump came out and said, "Hey, oh fuck, he's just." Yeah, I said, advisor. I don't need an advisor. I can advise myself. Oh fuck, whatever, right? He's gonna stick with Kushner. Whatever fucking Kushner says, and he's got. I don't even have the fucking laundry list of shit that.
He's just gonna have.
He's got his little fucking honey-do list.
By just the literal construct of the relationships, he's gonna have Trump's ear more than Steve Bannon is ever going to be able to. The dude is married to his daughter.
Because he's fucking his daughter, and Trump wants to fuck his own daughter.
Kushner say about the nepotism this week? Did you catch this, Mike? The stuff he said?
I don't believe I did.
Maybe
I might have, bro.
Hey, straight up, dude. He said, "What's wrong with nepotism? I understand Dad's business is better. I have a better understanding of the things that he's doing and where he's come from, and I can better represent Donald. Why should nepotism be bad?" It's like, well, because
he's got to pull his dick out of his mouth.
We decided centuries ago that it was bad. It's called the essentially a monarchy, you fuckknuckle, and it's illegal. Okay,
Since when is that going to stop anything this fucking administration does?
Well, right, totally. Our country is literally run by criminals, and of the worst kind. And so Jared Kushner just came out. He just made a public statement this week saying that, yeah, we're practicing illegal nepotism because fuck you, we think it's better. So there you go, Jared Kushner. And this shit, this is the buildup. We haven't even gotten to beyond the borders of the United States yet, dude.
One of the things I was saying about this Trump Bannon thing is, what about the Manafort connection? Manafort's the one that put Bannon in, and Conway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen there? I don't know. Just something that's been broiling in the back of my head. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like, and because Manafort's the one that kicked down, and that's when Trump started, getting more support.
And Manafort's the one that had ties to questionable ties in Chechnya, I believe it was. Or was it Chechnya or Ukraine?
No,
Ukraine.
It was Ukraine.
Right.
I think he was laundering money for the Ukrainian government.
During the Ukrainian uprising.
Talk about a fuck knuckle.
Okay, well, yeah, but
Anyway.
I'm not going to claim that I understand what that's all about, but I am super, super skeptical of the whole damn thing.
Right.
And I'm not on Manafort's side. I'm just not trying. I don't want to claim like he did this specific thing in Ukraine because I don't know, and neither do you, and neither do our listeners. So, but wake the fuck up. The fact that we don't is very telling.
But don't take everything they say for fucking gospel.
No,
just
it's
because,
a lie. Take
right.
it as a lie. Take it as a lie.
Well, just because they said
that comes out of your government, everything that comes out of your government's mouth and the media that bolsters it, take it as a lie, but then question whether it's a lie or not. Don't just assume and then be convinced on its face that something is a lie. Assume first that it is, and then question your assumption. But I got a question, bro. Seriously, what's a fucking MOAB? What the fuck is MOAB?
Well, besides being a bitchin' ass place to ride a mountain bike in Utah, MOAB actually, I heard Amy Goodman say what it exactly stands for. Massive something armor blowing up shit in the massive armor air fucking what I don't know anyway, but it's nicknamed the mother of all bombs. Now they said it was the largest non-nuclear weapon that they could drop. However, it is not. Now they've recently revised that this past week and said that it's the second largest. There is one more non-nuclear bomb that weighs 60 kilotons or some fucking stupid thing.
My projection of the future, my Kreskin fucking is that we're gonna see the other bomb you just mentioned.
Well,
let's
continue.
Get ready.
Let's continue because we haven't quite gotten too far yet. Basically, what they did is they dropped this motherfucking bomb on Afghanistan. This thing doesn't even hit the ground, bro. This thing doesn't even hit the ground. Now they're trying to destroy tunnels.
Well, let me say this: what it does is it
blows up in the air.
Well, the ground zero of this chemical—it's not a chemical reaction, but of this thing, this reaction that happens. Is that it basically shoots all the oxygen out
Sucks all the oxygen out.
A square mile. For a square mile.
No. A radius of a mile. It's the radius of a mile. So it's a mile from ground zero. It's a mile all around.
So it sucks out all the oxygen from that area and then incinerates everything that's left.
Okay, so my question is, how do you know fucking 36 people died?
Totally. That's what Johnny Ottarola was saying.
Right? How the fuck do you know? Oh, wait a minute. We found a few more. You found a few more what? Ashes?
Right. So let me back it up. So
anyway, they did this thing in Afghanistan to blow up tunnels.
Where they said that there was this network of underground tunnels that ISIS was using to facilitate and foment.
And had been using for a number of years.
Right. So they detonate this MOAB over these tunnels. So the landscape in this area of Afghanistan is not a city. It's not like they dropped it in the middle of the heart.
Fucking
very, very rural and agricultural. Okay,
the desert, bro.
Area, right? But it's agricultural. I've seen a lot of stuff, including poppies that are grown extensively.
Puppies.
And so what Yotarola is saying is like, okay, sure, people died. It could be 500 people. It could be 1 people. There's no way to know. But what we know for a fact is it was not 36
people. No, it's 52.
There's no way to determine. Where you can't.
So
there's
ridiculous.
No bodies. There's no remains.
Dude, I mean, I heard this dude on Democracy Now! talking
about
it.
Let me say one more thing, Mike, and then I'll let you go. Is that not okay? So it incinerates that 1 mile radius, but I've seen estimations of anywhere from 9 to actually, it's all in terms of kilometers. It's probably a 1 kilometer radius, but anyway.
They said mile, dude.
Okay, they said mile, but anyway, I've seen it anywhere from 9 to 12 kilometers beyond that can be directly affected, and people can be instantaneously killed in that broader radius.
Okay,
but it's that 1 mile radius that is just it just doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, so but what the fuck does that do to crush tunnels? I would think you'd want to send a bomb that would like a cratering bomb, like the one they should have fucking sent. That they should have, if they were planning on blowing up that airport or that that airstrip. Right. That's the kind they should have sent to fucking crater it and blow it the fuck up.
Just to clarify, Mike, you are in no way whatsoever saying we should bomb anything.
Yes.
Right.
Of course, so, if you've listened to the show
for a
fucking minute.
It just sounded a little weird, so I wanted to clarify.
I'm just saying, though, if your intention was to crush tunnels, you might want to send a bomb that would actually crush tunnels. This one blows up like in the middle of the air and, like it said, sucks all the oxygen out and fucking incinerates you. It reminds me of a goddamn Bugs Bunny cartoon or some shit. Remember? You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous to me. Yeah. But I'm just okay. So. Did you really crush any tunnels, or did you just fucking try to wipe out a few ISIS fighters and maybe their families? You don't know. You don't fucking care.
A
guy on Democracy Now! Was saying, dude, they're fucking testing these weapons in Afghanistan. Totally. That's what they're fucking doing.
Totally.
That's what they're doing.
They're getting ready for World War III.
Actually, and who are they going to? And who are they fucking? Who are they?
We're in World War III. World War III began quite a while ago. Here's my question for the listener. Here's my question. Name me a major power that isn't involved in some type of warfare or bombing or military activity in the world. Seriously, all of Europe, all of the quote, Eastern Bloc, whatever, the Chinese and Russians and all this stuff, all of the Middle East.
No, they're part of the
Africa's
coalition.
got all kinds of fucking problems going on. There's all kinds of upheaval and shit going on in South America.
What, Saudi Arabia's dropping our bombs on Yemen?
Annihilating Yemen daily, killing women and children in Yemen.
The country that cuts off women's genitals is dropping bombs, our bombs we made. But capitalism, yay capitalism.
Jobs they created jobs to kill. A lot of people have to have jobs if we're going to kill millions and millions of people all over the planet.
You'd think in the year 2017 that we could come up with jobs besides making bombs, and on top of that, how intelligent do you have to be to realize if you keep dropping bombs on brown people are going to get mad, and they're going to do things like, I don't know, hijack airplanes and drive them into fucking buildings and shit like that.
And you know why they use those tactics, Michael? Because they don't have massive multinational corporations and banks funding what they do. Although that may not be true. And we'll return to that, because it may be the same exact multinationals and banks that are funding what we do. But we're going to return to that when we get to Syria, because we're fucking get to Syria. And if you want to a little more clarification as to why I would make a declaration that we are in World War III, let's talk about fucking North Korea a little bit, dude.
Little Kim had a party this weekend. Little Kim had a party this weekend. Did you check that shit out? He was flexing his little dick. Did you? Oh my God! Did you see those little dicks he had cruising through the streets, bro? Well, he had these huge, massive canisters, and they do this constantly. This is not something different for North Korea at all. This is what they do. I don't know. It's not their 4th of July, but it's like this is the day they do. Every April 15th, we pay taxes. They pay tribute to the founder of North Korea on that day, and this is what they do. They fucking truck all these motherfucking artillery shit through the streets, And
so it's a military flex. It's a display of military.
Right, but now understand, they were showing these pictures of these fucking huge canisters on top of these launchers or whatever the fuck they were. Huge motherfucking missile canisters, right? Doesn't show the missiles, it just shows the canisters. So what does the West think? Oh, wow, are those interballistic missiles? Are they fucking empty? Who the fuck knows? Right? I mean, we all know Little Kim is not all there. He's definitely a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic, bro. Absolutely.
And I'm also not going to try to claim that Mike and I are any sorts of experts on North Korea. I can tell you that
I have watched enough MASH to be an expert.
The impression that I get about him is a terrifying one. He seems like an incredibly spoiled, rotten
monarchy,
dude.
Bro.
Has no problem with murdering anybody.
Wasn't it his daddy that started the country? I mean, he's like, it's a monarchy. It's
a dictatorship.
And didn't he And didn't he wipe out? He wiped out his brother. He had his brother killed.
Yes, recently there was news about that.
Right.
Where, his brother was shot point blank.
His brother was shot
in an airport. So
I know it's all tinfoil, guys. All tinfoil.
Yeah, it's all tinfoil. It's all tinfoil, bro. But you know what? You know what's not tinfoil is a massive NATO and Western ally military buildup.
Holy motherfucking shit, dude! Right? We're sending all kind of goddamn aircraft carriers and warriors and destroy ships down to the fucking South China Sea. It's like, what the fuck?
And all the military
analysts,
all the expert military analysts are saying in unison that this military buildup that we're seeing, not just from the West, but from the entire world, from China. There's a buildup from China. There's a buildup from Russia. There's a buildup from the United States. There's a buildup in NATO forces. And it is NATO. Everyone is universally saying that there has not been a buildup like this since World War II. This is totally a revisiting of what we experienced in the buildup to World War II. This is World War III. We're here. Get fucking ready. They dropped a MOAB on Afghanistan to make sure it really fucks shit up as good as it does. And then, hey, we killed 36 ISIS. No, what they did was, what they should have told you was get ready. This is coming on and on. This is going to be dropped on cities in the Middle East. Get used to it. That's what it was. It was get introduced to your new best buddy. Hey, media. Hey, Fox. Hey, CNN. Hey, MSNBC. This is what you're going to start seeing a lot of.
Okay, so all right, so check it out, right? So Trump's hanging out with the China dude, right? With the dude from China. And little Kim says, I'm going to flex my muscles really quick. I'm going to show these fuckers what's up, right? And so he blows up a missile, right? And it just fucking blows. It just goes to shit, right? But he did it purposely while they were having dinner, right? And so while they're eating chocolate cake, Trump says, check out what I'm going to fucking do. I'm going to lob 60 Tomahawk missiles into Afghanistan. They're just fucking playing. It's just like, who's got the biggest dick here?
Into Syria.
Into Syria. Right. This was before he dropped the MOAB bomb. It's just like, okay, so now I'm going to test my fucking weapons on Afghanistan, asshole. You're going to get shitty with me testing your little interballistic missile that blew up after takeoff. I'm going to show you what I got going on here. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's my dick is bigger than yours.
Right. And then what the statement that the horrible grammar, you can barely understand the English he used, statement that Trump put out was essentially saying that, look, China, fix your fucking boy over here, or we're gonna.
You take care of
it,
or we're gonna do it.
Check your boy, China, or we're gonna check it.
Yeah, but he backed off. He backed off on calling them.
That's a declaration of war.
You don't think they're gonna get together?
If China doesn't check him. If China doesn't check their boy in North Korea, then Trump is now going to be in a position to people are going to go, you tough?
Okay, so check it
out.
out.
You powerful? And he's going to go, fuck yeah, I am, and he's going to MOAB North Korea.
Okay, so check it out, though, bro. It's about the money. We all know it's about the money, Lebowski, right? So, does China have something we want? I know they want all our fucking recyclables. They buy all our recyclable shit. They're taking our fucking industrial age and turning it into their industrial age or whatever the fuck. But I mean, is there anything that we have that China wants? Is there any reason for China to be friends with us?
No. Here's what I think is going on globally, bro. And when we get into Syria, which we're about to, I'll break that. We'll be breaking this down better. But I think what's going on. And this is some tinfoil, all right? But this is some well-researched tinfoil. That countries like China and Russia, they're seeing the massive encroachment of the West. The West is on the brink. Western powers are on the brink of dominating the planet Earth. Okay?
I don't know. There's a lot of Asians, bro. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, but if we can control the Middle East completely, then we control the primary resources that keep this planet chugging along. That's what's going on.
At this moment in time.
Okay? And I think that China and Russia, which both have mountains and mountains of corruption in them, they've done disgusting, horrible things. All the same shit that our fucking government has done, oppressing journalism and killing people and extraordinary renditions and just like... So I'm not like saying they're bad and we're good, or we're good and they're bad. There's corruption in every form of government. That's why I'm a fucking anarchist, okay? But so I'm not defending or whatever, but I do think that I can understand why they're going like, wow, Western powers really, if they make this move here in Syria and they make that move there, they could dominate the fucking planet, completely offset the balance of power in the world, and thereby force us into a corner. It's like we're forcing Russia and China and like Hezbollah and these other countries to unify against our consortium, which is, the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and in all of these coalitions, dudes, there's so much like massive hypocrisy in the ideologies between unified factions and like, so none of this is about religious or political ideology. Religious and political ideologies are easily manipulated to serve this division and balance of power that we're seeing, okay? And Syria has become, in my estimation, the ultimate manifestation of this conflict, of this rise in like, okay, who is going to rule the world once and for all and forever? Okay, you and I, Mike, we're not being included in this decision-making process.
What? Come on. I could do this, dude. I could. We could do this. We could.
So
we'd have to get Tony from the Adolescents to help us, but Syria. We could do it. Let's talk about Syria. What do you want to know?
Okay, so
how to pronounce Assad?
Bashar al-Assad. If that Bashar al-Assad guy doesn't grab,
oh fuck!
Did you see? Oh my gosh, what's her name on SNL?
I did. Dressed up as the Easter Bunny. Oh my god!
It's so funny. I was telling Kylie, I was like, you know what? If she's gonna do this again, she's gonna have to step up the moving podium. It's gonna have to get more elaborate. And what the fuck? She gets in a giant egg and snaps it up the podium. Oh my god!
That was great.
Okay, so look. The Syria has. You have to look at a map, and maybe we've always said, Mike, that we won't put up images. We're going to throw up our one image. Maybe if you don't mind, bro, you can get it just an image of the Middle East, a map of the Middle East, and throw that shit up. I don't think I can do that. No, you're kind of stupid, but I think you can work it out. But if you look at the map of the Middle East and just the physical positioning of this country, where all the countries are, it tells you everything you need to know about why what's going on in the Middle East is going on in the Middle East. It's all about geopolitical positioning, okay? And Syria and Israel and Jordan, those countries are like, they are the crossroads between China and Asia and Russia, fucking India, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. It's like they're dead set in the middle of all that. And I guess apparently there were shit tons of dinosaurs in this area at one point, okay? Because there's all this fucking oil, right? And it's all about how do we get this oil transported to everybody? Who's gonna benefit most? Who's gonna benefit most from this oil? So that's where this whole thing that we've talked about a lot on the show about the two opposing proposed pipelines through Syria have a lot to do with this. I don't buy, like Jimmy Dore is convinced that that's the do-all end-all of what's happening in Syria. Is the pipeline. Yeah. And I don't agree with him there, but I believe they're very significant, very important. Yes, without question, they're important. But those pipelines were not proposed in the 1950s when the CIA first started trying to topple the Syrian regime. This has been going on since the 1950s. Do some Googles. If you don't believe me, that's fine. But this is all geopolitical, historic context that's going on in Syria. And so
it's Jesus, dude.
Right, it is Jesus. And come
on, no, seriously, that's Damascus, and that's the shit. Right. There's all those biblical places down there, man.
That's exactly right. So it's all intermingled with all this religious history too, and significant religious history, like you said, Damascus and Jerusalem, and the Dome of the Rock. It's significant to the world's three leading religions, right? And or monotheistic religions. So that doesn't mean it's a religious war. It's just you can't deny that that's getting. I always argue that those are the things that are being manipulated, that they're being manipulated to serve this larger purpose. I don't think the real decision makers of our planet give a fuck about Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, any of it.
No, that's about the money, Lebowski.
Right. It's about their money and their power. Okay, and
money is power.
Money is power. That's right. And so you have to question everything that's going on from Syria. So now, what do you have going on in Syria? You have the Assad regime.
Don't just believe the bullshit they're telling you on mainstream media. He didn't fucking lob 60 tomahawks in there because he felt bad that Syrian children got gassed. That's fucking bullshit. Only Doodle McNoodle believed that shit.
Right. Because he blatantly opposed to letting those people escape the thing that he's trying to protect them from.
It's okay that the little...
He said no refugees, so fuck him. It's not about humanitarian sin.
No, it's okay that they wash up on the beaches of the Mediterranean, but it's not okay that they got gassed. Fuck off, you hypocritical fuck.
And I'm going to question the gassing. I've been real hesitant to say that, but I'm going to question it, and we'll get back to that a little bit later.
As far as
it didn't happen, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm going to just present some interesting information, but we'll get to it. I want to get a little more what the structure of Syria is. So
let's go.
So Syria has the Assad regime, which is backed by Russia, Hezbollah, and ultimately the Saudis and the U.S. But now the U.S. bombed them, so it gets really weird and confusing, right? You have everyone's known that it's just a clusterfuck, and you have ISIS there too. So you have what they're calling Jabhat al-Nusra, okay, which is backed by the Saudis, which is holding what they're calling rebel territories all throughout Syria.
Right. Okay.
And Idlib is one of these territories, the territory where this alleged gas attack took place. Okay. So that's what you have. You have those factions, the Jabhat al-Nusra, and you have and quote unquote rebel forces, which are opposed to the Assad regime. Okay. And then you have now, and Jabhat al-Nusra is described as they're Al-Qaeda affiliated, and they are essentially a Syrian version of the Taliban. The whole structure of the way the way they're setting up their schools are separated by sex or by gender, and like it's just all the stuff that's indicative of Taliban methodology and rule is what you're seeing from Jabhat al-Nusra and these different regions that they control in Syria. And again, they're opposed to Assad, who was backed by Russia,
Iran.
Right. And Iran, which is massively significant. Bill Kristol called Iran the ultimate prize, dude. That's the prize. All this is the domino.
Billy Kristol, that right-wing motherfucking gray-haired, penis-headed looking asshole.
Okay, so I'm going to get back to Billy Kristol in 1 sec. I just want to wrap this up in to say, so you have this massive conflict going on with all these powers divided down the line and where they stand with Assad and where they don't stand with Assad. And U.S. is involved, has direct financial support for and involvement with all sides of this conflict. And then you also have ISIS there, okay? And that's its own separate fucking
ISIS
third
and Al-Qaeda.
Right, clusterfuck that contributes to it being a clusterfuck, okay? So now, what Bill Kristol said, and it's not just Bill Kristol, it's you've heard of it before maybe, the Project for the New American Century. This was a massive neocon right-wing think tank just before the Bush administration. It's regularly cited by 9/11 inside job people as proof that it was an inside job because in their Project for a New American Century report called Rebuilding America's Defenses, they made the statement that what I'm going to describe, I'll describe what their goal was in a second, but to achieve their goal, what they needed was a new Pearl Harbor. Well, less than a year later, they got it, and it was 9/11. So then they were able to kick into place this plan that Project for a New American Century laid out, which was for complete and utter takeover of the Middle East, specifically 7 countries. I'll try to get them all. Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, Iraq, I forgot some. Iran, Yemen, and I do believe that Egypt was part of that. Anyway, essentially every nation that was mentioned in this Project for a New American Century report as in need of regime change, All of them have had our military there. Now we're getting to the next to last step on that list is Syria, which ultimately leads to regime change in Iran, which is the next goal, according to Billy Crystal. And Billy Crystal just
So
tweeted that.
he wants to get rid of. No, because I swear to God, I just heard this week that I think the Middle East wants all non-secular government. Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Libya. I mean, we went into Libya for regime change and fucked that up. We went into Iraq and fucked that up.
The West has been like systematically overthrowing secular governments.
Yes.
You think if it's, we're fighting Islamic terror, we'd be centrally focused on Islamic states, or governments that are Islamic based, right? And we do overthrow Islamic states, but we're throwing over a lot of secular states too, which you would think would be on our side. So,
right.
What that means, I guess that's for you to determine, or listener to determine. But so, and then I also want to say, there's this sort of talking point that's been going on since early in the Bush administration, that it's just one blunder after another in the Middle East. Look, we went into Iraq, failed state. We went into Libya, failed state. Now we're in Syria, failed state.
Well, we could even go back farther and go Iran, failed fucking state. Shah of Iran.
Right. So obviously our foreign policy isn't working because there's all these failed states. Well, I would postulate and I would assert that the failed state is and always was the intended consequence and result of what we're doing in those countries. We don't I'm not going to say me because I'm not a capitalist fucking authoritative scumbag, okay? But what these capitalist fucking powers want is they want total disharmony and chaos, because it's so much easier to come in and completely just rape it of its resources.
And
dominate its oppression and its authority in the region.
Make money off of everything.
Failed states are conducive to the rape of resources and the dismantling of any type of opposition to you doing so.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
And so the Syria...
War makes money for people. Rebuilding makes money.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All of it.
And you're going to have Halliburton and all these companies come in and make shit tons of money, supposedly rebuilding these nations. But no, it's rebuilding the proper foundational mechanisms to facilitate some fucking petro state in each country. Right.
Oh, well, not just petroleum. I mean, there's minerals and gems in Africa that we have to have for our cell phones and for our electronics that we're raping that country over.
Right. It's all about the domination of global resources. And
it's about the money, Lebowski.
Well, I say it's about power. And money facilitates power. So I don't have a problem you saying it's the money, Lebowski, but I think the ultimate goal is power.
Money is power.
Well, right. Money facilitates power. But so I want to talk. So let's talk about this fucking gas attack that happened in Idlib, dude.
Okay, let's do that real quick, and then we got some shit go down in California we need to talk about. So.
Yep. And yes, I was at the Antifa versus
Nazis. Fucking
rally
Nazis
in Berkeley. And I'm gonna tell you all about it. So, all the video that you can see. You may have seen it, Mike, the video of the gas attacks and them spraying off the victims. And stuff
they're hosing them down with water. It's not doing anything fucking good.
Well, here's the thing, though. Everything I've seen, and I don't claim to be an expert on sarin gas, okay? What I know about sarin gas is probably what I've heard in the last week, okay? So be straight up. But every report I've seen on numerous outlets is saying that if your skin comes in direct contact with a sarin victim and who has sarin on them, like you're going to have, like within an hour, instant bowel shutdown. You're going to have sores all over your body and you're going to die. Okay? Like if you're touching a sarin attack victim, you should be in full hazmat gear because it's like you're guaranteed you'll die if you come in contact with it, like within an hour. So you have all these white helmets grabbing these bodies and flipping them over and throwing them up on trucks and spraying them with water and shit.
Not just white helmets, though. Not just white helmets.
That's true. Not just white helmets. There was other people, but no one, most of them aren't even wearing gloves, let alone hazmat gear.
Agreed.
So what the fuck is up with that?
Well,
So
one of the things I heard.
I suggest our listener Google sarin gas effects and whatever, and then do their own homework on that.
One of the things I heard.
I just think it's questionable. I think there's some validity to questioning why these people aren't wearing fucking hazmat suits and why they're not dead for having not done it.
Well, one of the things I heard, bro, it wasn't just sarin gas, it was also chlorine gas. And as a pool guy, I've sniffed my share of chlorine gas. Honestly.
Yeah,
and yeah, there's nothing you can hose it on, but touching somebody ain't gonna hurt you. But I heard it was a combination of both. Now, the other thing I heard that might bring into question is the fact that the autopsies were done by the Turks, and you know what happened with the Turks. We've got Erdogan that just even what was it this weekend or today? I guess it was today that has now a referendum passed in his country that has given him more power. So you want to talk about a dictatorship and oligarchs? You've got one in Turkey that's right next door,
right?
And he's the one that the Turks said this. Well, the Turks have normally we've been allies with the Turks. They've been our friends. They've been our buddies. But now we've got this right wing fucktard, basically dictator.
Right. Well,
Cenk
is Turkish, and he doesn't. Cenk is Turkish, and he constantly rails against Erdogan. He doesn't like Erdogan at all.
Exactly.
I'm not going to claim to know a whole lot about Turkey.
Just saying,
I'm just proud of myself that I know that G makes a W sound. I don't know why the G makes a W sound, but it does. So that makes me an expert on Turkey. Because his name's spelled Erdogan, but it's pronounced
but it's Erdogan. I'm just saying, do we trust what's coming out of Turkey? They're saying it was sarin gas with a combination of chlorine gas. So there's that possibility.
Now we'll return to whether or not it was an actual sarin gas attack.
I'm sure we'll find out more in the next couple of weeks or so.
Well, no, we're going to talk about more because I have more information. What I want to get into is who was responsible for it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, mainstream media says
we don't know.
It was
Syria.
We still don't know.
We still don't know that.
It was a shad.
It was Bashir al-Assad.
It was a shad.
And also I don't talk so good.
Ahmad Rashad.
Ahmad Rashad, and also I don't talk so good.
And his wife Felicia.
Okay, look. Okay, all joking aside, there is no definitive report or anything that shows conclusively, even remotely close to conclusively.
There's no fucking intelligence.
Who is responsible. There is no intelligence.
There's no intelligence.
Who is responsible for this? Okay, and aside from the fact that our president should have technically,
you were not going to say he should have intelligence.
No, well, he should, but he should have had congressional approval before he bombed. But presidents for decades have been bombing without congressional approval.
That's the left whining.
Right. But thank you. That is the left whining because it's pointless. It's not going to get you anywhere. He did it, And so we talked. I mentioned when we first brought this up, and I elaborated a little bit on what we talked about as being Cenk's theory of what happened, and you can revisit our old show if you want to know more of what we said. But I did say that, okay, what's the end result of what Cenk's saying? Do you not have to ask, is it Putin who is responsible? And who did it so that they could ultimately say, so that Trump could bomb Syria in response, and in doing so show that he's not in bed with Putin. Because look, I just bombed Putin's ally, Assad.
Trump came out and said they're not in collusion.
And Kushner was carted out saying all that shit like clockwork. Came out the next day and said, we can't be in bed with Putin. We just bombed him.
It was Eric Trump.
Oh, it was Eric.
It was his son. It was not
exactly
Kushner.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're right. And so. But I just, not that I'm.
And then Tillerson shows up over there and chats with his little buddy, and then he also has a 2-hour meeting with Putin.
Well, with the Russian fucking diplomats and shit too. And you know what was interesting about
his
Tillerson,
counterpart.
And others. My understanding is he sat in a room with a number of people at one point. And what I think was really interesting about that exchange was that they didn't come at him like, "Hey, dude, we didn't do what's going on there. We didn't have anything." They weren't on the defensive at all. it's like they all came in really confused. They were like, okay, we have some questions.
What the fuck?
Like, seriously, what the fuck? Okay, like, is Trump in charge? This is what they asked him. Is Trump in charge or is the deep state in charge? Like, basically, we don't give a shit either way. We just kind of want to know so we know how to go forward and make plans for our country in the future. So we know what to expect from you, and we can adjust our foreign policy accordingly. Not for nefarious reasons, not so they can have a battle with America, but just so they can understand what the fuck America's doing so that they can have a relationship with America. So they're like, who's in charge? And then they're like, okay, wait a minute. And we're confused too because like a week ago, literally, Trump said that he backed Assad, and then this week he bombed him. So seriously, can you just tell us what the fuck?
Well, yeah, but Trump called Putin, and Putin called Assad to let him know, hey, Trump's dropping some fucking bombs on you, so move your guys out.
Right. So the whole thing is just so back and forth, and none of it adds up. There's so much contradictory shit going on. And when I see that, just contradiction after contradiction, I go, that's all on purpose. That's all the dog and pony show. This is all the Roman arena. That's what we're watching.
And he's got all the dogs and all the ponies.
That's right. And so as much as I wouldn't put it past someone like Putin to like
and Omarosa
to sarin fucking innocent women and children, sure. I believe that Vladimir Putin is capable of doing that just as much as I believe Trump is capable of doing that, as the guy from Korea is capable of doing it. I'm not defending Putin by saying I don't think he was responsible for the gas attack in Syria. But then that still asks the question, okay, we can't prove it was Bashir al-Assad, and we can't prove that it was Putin. So who was it? And I've been struggling with this. So there was a 5-minute interview. Right,
with Margaret Kimberly. Right. She's a longtime respected activist in the anti-war arenas.
Right. And our good buddy Adair referred us to this.
Right. And I tend
short clip.
Yeah, it's only 5 minutes, and I tend to believe what she had to say. Right. I think she expanded on the theory that Cenk was working off of,
right.
But with a little bit more. Maybe hands-on experience.
Well, and here's, I think, what she was trying to say is that ultimately, like, okay, the question you should be asking isn't who did it, is who has sarin gas and wood? Fucking great question, because apparently, like, these Jabhat al-Nusra people who were backed by Saudi Arabia, I guess they've, like, I believe it was. I'll just go on. There's been video that these groups have put out showing that they have sarin gas and saying we're willing to use this on innocent women and children. So now that doesn't mean that they're responsible, that Jabhat al-Nusra or that Saudi Arabia or whatever is responsible for the gas attacks in Syria. That may or may not even have happened, but it's the closest thing to legitimate circumstantial evidence we have so far. And if you disagree, I'd be happy to hear it. But
that's all we've got, though, is
just
circumstantial
curious.
evidence.
Just curious. It's like, okay, so we have this guy Bashar al-Assad. Well, let me say this. We have this guy Bashar al-Assad who is essentially not necessarily winning, but doing pretty damn good.
Right.
And the worst thing he could possibly have done
with money from Iran and Russia.
Right. Was to gas his own people. Like it's totally contradictory to what he wants to accomplish and would have, and with obvious negative repercussions for his cause. So it's just stupid for him to have done that.
It doesn't make sense.
It's laughable to think that he would do it. And again, I don't see the connection to why Putin would. But these people, they have. It seems like they have the sarin.
It's a chess move. It's a chess move.
Move. And then
you know what it is, bro.
And
you know what it is.
I want to go ahead.
I was going to say, I picked this up, and this was off of that interview I saw on Democracy Now! With Stephen Cohen. It's fucking political theater, bro. Yeah. That's what it is. It's political theater. Look what we're doing here.
Definitely we're doing here. Check that interview out, too. It's in 3 parts, so for our listeners who are listening, check out all 3 parts of this.
But am I right?
One. Oh, yeah. He was so it's
it's all political theater. Dropping the fucking MOAB and lobbing the 60 fucking tomahawks and the whole goddamn thing, man. It's all the sarin gas. Think whatever. If that actually happened and those fucking people died, that's wrong and horrible. That's just fucking disgusting and horrible.
Thank you for clarifying that too. Thank you for clarifying that because it is. It's gross.
But
I'll tell you what,
political
Mike, I'll tell you this. I couldn't bring myself to watch the videos because I'm a father, man. I didn't want to see dead babies on my video. But I decided when I started hearing like
I don't
questionable.
want to see dead brown people.
When
I
I
don't want to see
started,
dead people.
right, and when I started hearing
I see dead
questionable,
people.
when I
I'm
started
sorry.
hearing questionable conspiracy theories about the white helmets and stuff, I went back and started watching the videos. And here's a little bit about the white helmets. So
Yeah, tell me
I
about the
can
white
tell you
helmets because
now.
I've seen some little blurbs here and there.
Okay, so there's an interview on our Facebook page that we've cited before that I would like people to check out with Taryn Fivek on the Socialist Hour with our good buddy Abear.
Yes,
She kind of breaks
yes.
down. Kind of her personal interactions and experiences with the white helmet. So anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I really highly suggest you check that out. It's on our Facebook page. You'll see the link there. And anyway, so these white helmet guys. So they're this fairly new sort of humanitarian group, right? And what they kind of come out of is when the last time there was the red line in the sand with Syria, and Obama said, if you cross this red line, blah, blah, blah. And then they did, and then he didn't go to war, right? That whole thing. At that point, the USAID, which is U.S. Agency for International Development, in tandem with the deep state, they didn't like that Obama didn't go in. They wanted him to, I guess. Okay, and so they started pumping a bunch of money into propaganda outlets, and then create $25 million for video surveillance stuff and all that stuff. But they needed people to use all these cameras. Boom, boom, bing, bang. That's what the white helmets come out of through this USAID funding and deep state propaganda mechanism that didn't like that Obama didn't start bombing Syria when he said there's a red line in the sand. So where do the white helmets operate? Well, oddly enough, they operate in all these same regions that are the strongholds and territories of the Jabhat al-Nusra Saudi-backed rebels against Assad. So in Idlib and these other territories like them, that's where the white helmets are. Okay, and people like the Red Cross and all this stuff, they're like, what are you talking about, your first responders? Because we're already here. That's just one side of it that's weird and questionable. And I think Taryn Fivek gets into that side a little bit more. Okay. So, and I just want to clarify a little bit. There's a conspiracy theories out there saying that white helmets are terrorists. I'm not ready to make that statement by any means. What I am ready to say is it looks like they're just a fucking propaganda mechanism for pro-war ideas and for regime change in Syria. That I think it's looking like, and I could be wrong on this, I don't have definitive proof, but that they are a propaganda tool for regime change in Syria. Okay, now they had some questionable shit, so an quote unquote independent source puts together this movie that gets produced by Netflix about the white helmets. That because they were nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize apparently, and the Nobel board said, yeah, there's no proof that they've done anything to create peace. We can't even tell what these people are. So they get no Nobel Peace Prize. So they got themselves a fucking Oscar award instead. And that's what Max Blumenthal, the way he frames it on this week's episode of On Contact with Chris Hedges, which I should assert and I meant to say earlier is where I'm getting a lot of my information is from Max Blumenthal, who's the senior editor at Alternet. And he has one of his co-editors or writers for Alternet with him, Ben Norton, and they talk break down a lot of the information I'm sharing right now comes from the way they broke it down in their firsthand reporting and stuff. So I really, really highly suggest anybody check out this week's On Contact with Chris Hedges with Max Blumenthal and Ben Norton. And anyway, so there's some real questionable shit about the white helmets. We don't know what the hell's going on, but it's confusing, and I feel like we got a little closer than we were in understanding, right, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, I think so.
And unless you got anything to add in these last 5 or 10 minutes or so, I guess we should go ahead and talk about what happened in Berkley.
Oh, my God. For 5 or 10 minutes? Can you
Well,
squeeze that all?
I think we can.
You squeeze that one out?
So, actually, why don't we start like this, Mike?
Okay.
Did you see news reports or anything like that about Berkley like last night or this weekend?
Actually,
or
yes. Actually, I saw it on Democracy Now. I saw it on the local news.
So why don't you go ahead and kind of explain your impression of what you saw before having talked to me, and then I'll explain. And then I think that'll be a good setup.
It was kind of hard.
Happened because for our listeners, I was there. I was there all day on Saturday.
Yes, and I knew you were there before that. I actually saw what happened on the news. I mean, obviously, I saw Democracy Now! This morning, and you were there, yesterday. So I heard all about it yesterday before I saw the little news thing on Democracy Now! But they didn't get into it too much. They just mentioned that it happened and so forth. And so basically the local news, and it was just, hey, there was a clash of anti-Trump supporters with pro-Trump supporters, and it happened in Berkeley and blah, blah, blah. That was about it. It was nothing more than probably, 20 seconds worth of talk.
Okay.
My impression was that there was a pro-Trump. I mean, this is my first impression.
Sure.
There was a pro-Trump rally going on, and Antifa showed up.
Right.
And I was like, Antifa doesn't show up at pro-Trump rallies. Antifa shows up where there's white supremacy going on. So
Right.
This was obviously not just a pro-Trump rally. This was something a little bit more in depth.
Definitely.
Honestly, Antifa doesn't show up at a pro-Trump rally. We have pro-Trump rallies in Redlands, and Antifa doesn't show up here.
Right.
Okay? So that was not what... So my first... And same thing with what happened in Huntington Beach. With the bullshit that went down at Huntington Beach, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, about 20 Antifa
that was not
showed
just
up, and thousands of fucking Trump supporters attacked them.
Right.
I take that back. A bunch of Nazis, because there were Nazis at that Huntington Beach rally and Trump supporters, and they
had
can be
intermixed.
It does exist a Trump supporter who's not racist. That does exist in the world, people. Okay,
I have
to remind myself of that all the time.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Because most of the ones I've talked to are racist, and I'm not fucking putting up with it. I'm not putting up with anybody. I don't give a fuck what color your skin is. I'm not putting up with your racism.
Straight up.
So
what was going on was it was a Patriots Day rally.
I fucking hate that.
and just to set the premise straight going forward, it was in Martin Luther King Park on Civic Center in Berkeley. Martin Luther King Park in Berkeley is where they decided to hold their Patriots Day rally.
Okay,
now that alone in and of itself would not be offensive.
Complete stupidity.
The straight up organizations that were involved in running, organizing, and speaking at this event, there was the Proud Boys, which is one of the largest fucking neo-Nazi skinhead groups in the Bay Area. Okay, there were that dude that was caught on video. I'm not even going to say his name because fuck him, but he was caught sucker punching a woman. He started Identity Europa and is a KKK member. There were numerous people that had direct ties, blatant, outspoken
Nazi rally. It's a fucking Nazi rally.
All day long, everywhere, all throughout this fucking event, there were Nazi flags and Sieg Heiling. And for those of our listeners who don't know, you know, Mikey, the little Ote symbol, where you put
buckwheat.
You put your thumb next to your pointer finger.
Yeah, like you're saying okay, but yeah.
Right, and you hold the three. Let me say it. You put your thumb next to your pointer finger, and you put the other three fingers up. Okay, when you see someone who on the right wing use that, that is the new secret Sieg Heil. Make no mistake about it. And they'll actually say, "This means peace. This means peace." And I got a bunch of people on video saying that and doing that. That is a Sieg Heil Nazi salute without question. The only people who are using that thing now are straight up outspoken Nazis. And it was used all over by numerous people from the quote unquote pro-Trump rally. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. That rally.
Well, it did. I saw the dude that was wrapped in the Trump flag. There
were people wearing Trump flags and people there who liked Trump, but this was all about they were constantly shouting the slogans, "Get the commies off our streets, commie scum." Okay.
Am I correct in that I understand there were anti-Semitic signs as well?
Straight up, blatantly anti-Semitic signs. De Goyim, no. That's anti-Semitism. There's no questioning that is 100% anti-Semitism. There was the KEK flag all over the place. It's just like this green, black, and white flag, which is this weird mix-up of fucking Nazi imagery that's they're using. Now, I've only recently been seeing that flag's only come on my radar maybe the last 6 months, but I've been seeing it, and it's only used by fucking straight-up Nazis. And that was all over the place. And hate speech is free speech. So they're saying, yeah, we practice hate speech. We're Nazis. We're racist. Now, don't get it wrong. There were just your average hardworking, middle-class American Trump-supporting people there,
Doodle
too.
McDoodle?
Those people did exist. And there were people
Doodle
straight up.
McDoodle's a racist.
Latinos for Trump were there. There was other factions there that just can't be called Nazis, okay? But the vast majority of those people were straight up
white Nazis
coming from a Nazi mentality and espousing Nazi ideology. Now, with that said, I also want to elaborate that when they set up this event, it was not to put speeches out. They had speakers, but this was about going to Berkeley because they said, and a number of these fucking dudes that were involved in this, speaking at this and organizing this, like Base Stickman and these other fucking idiots, came out and said shit about, like, if we can do this in Berkeley, we can do it anywhere. This was not about spreading a message of support for Donald Trump. This was about saying we're going to bring our racism and our fascism, and we're going to stand in the streets of Berkeley.
Right in the middle of the fucking liberal elite.
The bastion, the ground
the heart
zero
of liberalism.
Liberal thinking. And we're going to go there, and if we can stand in that street for a fucking day, we will have had a success. And you know what, bro? They did it. And of course, Antifa, what is that? So this idea that by Antifa being there with the intent of confronting them makes them responsible, I don't think that argument holds water. The Patriots rally and what it was intended to do was the initial provocation, and it was saying, we're coming to your town and we're going to fight you. And they showed up in helmets and armor and fucking,
I saw the dudes in helmets.
War. They came ready for war. And they got it. Then you know what happens, bro? So, okay, we get there it's just barely starting when we get there. And at this point, what the police have done is the park is fairly small. Say it's rectangular shape. They've put up all this kind of like janky, shitty, fucking orange barrier stuff.
Yeah. Same stuff they use in mountain bike races.
Right, you can just step on it and it's demolished. And but what they did, Michael, is they set up the dividing lines. They established the battle lines in the middle of the park. They set up a perimeter and didn't let anybody into the quad area where the speeches were going to be held. And then you had oath keepers standing in front of the entry, and none of the leftists and anarchists were going to be allowed to enter there. And frankly, I don't have a problem with that. Antifa came to start fights. I have very, very conflicting opinions on what oath keepers are, and we can probably get into that another time. But I didn't see anything from the oath keepers at this event where they were shitty to people. In fact, I did see Oath Keepers check a few racists and say, don't say that shit. That's not what we're about. And one of the Oath Keepers did give up and give a speech at one point, and he denounced the racism that existed. But he was a feather in a shitstorm, bro, because the vast majority of it was racists saying their racist shit. But I just wanted to be clear and honest. So the police set up the fucking battle lines. And then the left and the right adhere to it. They gather up on those battle lines and start yelling and screaming at each other. It starts getting heated. There's a couple little verbal, physical confrontations here and there. And then it really takes off. And what happens is the whole crowd kind of moves out of the park. All the Black Bloc and Antifa people move into the street on the right side of the park and confront the Nazis and a couple of Trump supporters on the right side of the park. And it starts getting real violent. And for a minute, a line of police went in and stood in front and basically protected the right-wing side. And then Antifa threw in a few flashbangs and actually nailed the cops. And at that moment, I don't think the flashbangs made the cops disperse, but they did disperse at that moment. But then what they did, dude, for the rest of the day, once they saw that the crowds were sufficiently heated and there was no turning back, there was going to be numerous constant physical confrontations in the streets, the cops completely backed off. They watched people beat each other with sticks and shit for hours on end. They watched blatant assaults go down, unprovoked assault, self-defense. There was all that shit going on. But the police did nothing. They did nothing. And I heard a couple different theories as to why that is. One of them, the guy down at Revolution Books, we went straight over to Revolution Books after and just kind of talked to some people over there, which is super, super communist right-wing bookstore in Berkeley, and they have they also have one in New York too. But one of the guys there was saying he thinks that he knows that after the last thing in Berkeley, which was what, on the 5th or something, 4th or the 5th, that because of the police involvement, the chief of police or the mayor received like shit tons of death threats. And I don't know, death threats mostly from like right-wing people, right? So the guy at Revolution Books is saying, well, maybe he just said, fucking pull the cops out. You fucking fascists want to, threaten my life? Fuck you. You're on your own. Okay, so there's one theory. The other theory is that the clash between let's be clear on what happened Saturday, Mike. But in an attempt not to cast aspersions or label either side, or even defend either side, I think it's clear that the farthest extremist ideologies of the left clashed in Berkeley with the farthest extremist ideologies on the right. That's what was going on there. It was not anti-Trump supporters versus Trump supporters. That's just a complete misreading of what was going on. Okay? And, there was those tax day fucking demonstrations all over the country, too. None of this kind of shit went down with those things.
Right.
Okay? That's Trump.
True. That's true.
That's Trump
that was definitely anti-Trump.
Right. Anti-Trump supporters versus Trump support, whatever. That was a totally different scenario. This is the extreme left wing clashing with the extreme right wing. Okay. And when you look at the media, Michael, I've seen the CNN coverage and all the major media outlets have touched on it. And in none of those reportings that I saw, it may exist, but I didn't see any of it, did they get any footage of the speakers? Okay. Now, look, however you feel about the speakers, however you feel about the speakers or what the intention is, if you're a news outlet and you go to a rally that's built around speeches being given, you at least get a little B-roll of the speeches. Not that you're trying to spread their propaganda for them, but you have to show the speeches. And then you can say, but these speeches were overshadowed by all this conflict going on outside in the street, right? And then you can get coverage of that. But they didn't cover the speeches at all. All they covered was the conflict. That's all the media covered. The police set up the battle lines, got them fucking going against each other, knew this was going to be a conflict. The media came in, they set up the fucking softball, the alley-oop, man. And then the media came in and slam dunked it and said, look, our country is massively divided. We've never been this divided in history.
Yeah, but that makes money for them.
It's propaganda and it's manipulation. And it's a misrepresentation of those scumbag fucking Nazis, too. They were manipulated by these fascist fucking powers. They are using you, you moron Nazis. They're not Nazis. They don't care about people's ethnicity or gender.
Fucking idiots.
They want to control everyone, including you, you Nazi fucking fuckknuckle. They don't give a shit about you or your children or your heritage. But your fight for those things is something they can manipulate very easily. And the left-wing violent response to it is also something that they can manipulate. I feel like the people that I might tend to agree with on things and the people I basically agree with on nothing were all manipulated on Saturday, and it was gross. And straight up, bro, I'm a giant fucking snowflake cuck because at one point I'm standing 2 feet away from a mass of people in the weirdest fucking get-ups and clown fucking clothes up against these terrifying looking all black bloc fucking anarchist people, and they're fighting and they're saying the worst, most horrible fucking things you can think of to each other and beating on each other. And I was so disappointed in humanity, bro. And I fucking cried. I'm standing there in the midst of all this fucking violence. Tough guy, anarchist, punk rocker dude, right? I'm standing there crying because what the fuck are we doing, people? Yes, fascism has to go. Racism and bigotry has to go. Yes, I agree with that. But I am not confident that what's going on. And I'll tell you another thing, Michael. Since we did our What is Antifa show and stuff, something that I've been uncomfortable with is because I have so much in agreement politically with people who relate to being Antifa. I'm an anarchist who will embrace some sociologist ideology, socialist ideologies. And Antifa, that describes Antifa in a lot of ways. Okay, so we have some crossover in ideology. But because I haven't gone so far yet as to, I've been willing to say I'm not comfortable with committing violence because that's the truth, and I still stand by that.
Definitely.
But I haven't come out and denounced them for doing it. And what I can't escape is that in not denouncing it, I am essentially giving tacit approval to it.
That's true.
And I'm not comfortable with that. And that's why we're still talking about Antifa. Okay, I'm not Antifa. But we did a show about it. And we took it upon ourselves to tell people what it is, and I feel like we still have an ongoing responsibility to our listeners and to present this right.
Well, and do we believe in being racists?
Absolutely not.
Do we hate people that are racists?
I hate what they hate. I hate what they believe. And sometimes, yeah, I give into hatred of them too, personally as people, yes. But I don't want to. It's hard, but I don't want to.
I hate their ideology, but maybe not the person?
Despise it. It needs to be eliminated from the human species. Bigotry in all its forms has to go before we can move forward.
So does violence.
And so we'll probably be returning to this. And if people want to check it out,
probably.
I just put up it's about a half hour long. It's essentially all my raw footage that I took at the rally. And I urge you to take a look at it. And when I did, man, we got trolled hard. It's the first time we've ever been trolled. We got a bunch of people.
Yeah, totally we have like 31 dislikes already.
Right. And, for us, that's a lot, dude.
That's awesome. I fucking love it. Bring it on, fucktards.
We have 40 subscribers on our show.
I don't think they fucking get it.
And by the way, dude, thank you so much to the 40 of you who subscribe to our shit. That's awesome. I mean, we've never really expressed enough, I think, appreciation.
Let me just say that we have one of our new subscribers, my buddy Mike, does pools here in Rancho Cucamonga. And he's going to be our voice of disagreement. He is a right-wing capitalist pool guy. But I have mad respect for the guy, bro. He listened to I sent him the link for our last show, and he listened to it, and he sent it back, and he's like, that's it. I'm totally listening, and I'm going to be your voice of dissent. So I'm like, bring it on, brother. Absolutely, and totally. Then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I subscribe." So I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Thank you, bro. And to anybody who wants to go look at a video that maybe hates us, I already posted this in the comment section.
I saw that
video. If you fucking get remotely shitty or condescending, I'm just going to delete your shit and block you. You don't get to come on our shit and be shitty to us, okay? And because it's
racist.
Because it's ours, and we're petty little fucking children.
I don't give a fuck. No racist bullshit. No racist bullshit. Fuck you.
No racist bullshit. And if you're at
all
little
fucking frog faces, fuck off.
You're done. Yeah. And I'm not going to comment to you. I'm not going to call you names back. Mike did a little bit of that, and I deleted those comments. And I don't blame you for doing it, by the way, Mike. People said some really shitty things to us on those.
No, but you're right. Fuck them. Block them, delete them, kick them the fuck off. I'm not listening.
We're not responding. We're going to delete your comment. If you if you disagree with us, that's okay. But come at us with some fucking respect. Because if you don't, I'm just going to delete it. And I don't care. Even if you're not bigoted, but I kind of think maybe you are, yep, I'm deleting your shit from my YouTube channel. Okay? So check your words carefully. Make sure I can't think that you're a bigot. I'm not going to call you names. I don't care if you're a bigot or not. You're just not commenting on my shit. So there's that. But I really suggest people take a look at the video. And what's so crazy to me, Mike, is that people fucking came at us like we did everything that you're seeing in the video. Dude, I walked around. I never fucking punched anybody. I didn't get violent. I didn't get confrontational. There's one guy I yelled at because he fucking picked up a burning trash can and threw it at a chick. And I told him, dude, you fucking threw fire at a human being. And then he told her, you're what's wrong with the world. I'm like, dude, you threw fire at a human, you fucking piece of shit. You're what's wrong with the world. I don't give a fuck about your
I know. It was amazing. I mean, we got called communist scum because we just were there. And it's like, why? Because we support anti-fascism and anti-racism. Really? If that makes me communist scum, have at it, fuckers.
Fine.
Because I am absolutely against fascism and I am absolutely against racism. I'm fucking sick of it. I get lumped into this thing and, because you're white, you just get pulled in. Because you're supposed to be a racist like everybody else because you're fucking white. And when you hear it from somebody that's brown, that you're like, what the fuck? Fuck you. I'm not going to your fucking bar anymore because there's too many goddamn racists there.
Yep.
Fuck
Period.
off.
And and so and Antifa, what it's doing right now, and what people are all up in arms about, and what's controversial is they're taking it a step further. They're taking the fight to them. They're not just saying I won't allow that around me. I refuse. They're saying no, fuck you. We're going to stop you from it. And so there's a big part of me that is enamored by that.
At all.
There's something about me that's enamored by that. But I don't know that it's effective. I can tell you, I don't think anybody won on Saturday. I know that the public did not hear the messaging of the speeches. So their
not at all. So maybe it got blocked.
And the residents of Berkley did not hear the messaging coming from those speakers. So that was, they shut that down. But I would argue that those speakers weren't the intention. They were just names on a flyer so that they could call it an event. They never obtained a permit. Someone got on our shit today and said they had permits, blah, blah, blah. No, they did not. They never obtained a permit for any of that. That's bullshit. Berkley just got ready because they knew it was happening whether they liked it or not. So this continues, man. And
but the show's got to stop.
But the show's got to stop, and so we're going to do it. We're going to end our show on a new little thing every week.
Oh, yeah, because you know what?
The coolest fucking thing in the whole universe happened.
We are now followed by Mr. Eddie Money.
Pack your bags, man.
We're going
leave tonight.
We leave tonight, motherfucker.
Because I'm shaking.
Oh, my God.
Snapping a finger.
I did not, not a word. I don't know where the fuck he came up with this. I mean, people follow us every once in a while just because they want to, for instance, they see that we're something and they follow us because they want us to follow them or use their product or whatever, service they're selling, right? And some of them are bullshit and I don't follow them back and they end up dropping off and don't follow us anymore, right?
Right.
But out of the motherfucking blue, I'm like, Eddie Money. I'm like, no way. And I showed the kids, and they're like, oh, yeah, Dad, see that check mark? That means it's verified. That's him. Like, no fucking way Eddie Money followed us, right?
I know, Eddie
so in gratitude and in response, we are now going to have our weekly P4P What the Fuck Eddie Money moment.
Our Eddie Money moment. And so here, so every week at the end of the What the Fuck report, we're going to either say something nice to or something we feel Eddie Money needs to know. Yeah, because Eddie Money follows us on Twitter. So it doesn't mean he's listening to our show, but if you are, Eddie, here, and I want to get real, we're old punk rockers. We're old punk rockers. So I got to clarify some shit when it comes to Eddie Money.
Oh,
okay?
You have no idea.
Straight up, for starters, when I was a kid, no... Sorry, Eddie, but I fucking couldn't stand you. You know why, Mike?
No, why?
He wasn't a punk rocker. He wasn't playing punk.
Yeah, there was that.
Rock.
Yeah,
so fuck
now
him.
see.
And he was kind of goofy, and the way the right side of his mouth stays closed. And I just want to say, every time we do the Eddie Money moment, we have to do it with the right side of our mouth shut while we talk. But anyway, so I just wasn't into Eddie Money. He never did anything that made me mad about him. I don't know that he ever had any type of salacious controversy or anything. He's had a few hits.
I don't think he ever has.
Yeah, and I think he just kind of dwindled out and just got a little less popular.
Did his thing and had a hit or two.
Right. And so as I got older, I realized that just because someone isn't a punk band doesn't mean they're garbage. When I was younger, I realized, and I went back and revisited a lot of music and realized there's a lot of great music out there. Not punk rock. Right? But I don't know that I ever had occasion to think I should go back and revisit Eddie Money too, right?
Oh,
God,
no.
I just never did. Until he followed us on Twitter, right?
Right.
And so I went back and I looked at some of his old songs, all songs that we've heard before, and I thought, you know what, man? This guy ain't bad at all. Oh, man. He's kind of a fucking cool dude. He's got a real band. He's got a little bit of a power pop look to him, and he's a little goofy and silly, but I mean, have you seen my band? I mean, you want to talk goofy and fucking silly, dude. And I definitely suffer from some
seen that
form
shit that I did? Jeez.
Yeah, I have some form of undiagnosed brain damage, okay? Because if you've seen me play, there's brain damage going on. So I'm not one to talk against Eddie. So in the end, man, dude, my one nice thing to Eddie this week on the Eddie Money Minute is, Eddie Money, dude, you're pretty badass, and I'm pretty stoked that you took the time to fucking follow us on Twitter, man. Thank you.
Okay, well, no, my Eddie Money story. I have no Eddie Money story. Get fucking real. 14 years old, I had the fucking single, the 45 single, 2 Tickets to Paradise. I had that, and I had Foreigner, Cold as Ice. So That was before punk rock.
Well, then for your portion of the Eddie Money moment, here's my Eddie nice to our good buddy.
I have one thing, Mr. Money. Here's what I'd like to say to you. Only a fool would think someone would save you. The words of Joe Strummer.
There you go, Eddie. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the weekly What the Fuck Report. Dude, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, if you
Eddie.
Like and share our shit on Facebook. If you see something you like on our Facebook page, share it, because then more people see that we even exist and can like our thing and get a little more hip to what we're doing. So please don't just like stuff. Share some shit on our Facebook page.
Retweet that tweeter shit.
Yeah, retweet the Twitters. Because, hey, they got this bust out our shit thing going on. All right? And I don't talk so good. So, anyway, dude, what the fuck? That was a good report.
What the fuck? Bro. Peace out, brother.
Love you.
Love you too.